Have you ever thought about where your audience is? Living in and doing business in the online world, it's something we sometimes forget about. If you have a local business, it might be a lot easier. Here in the town where I live, there's new businesses popping up all the time. There's a new Mexican restaurant that's opening down the street. There's a new yogurt shop down the street. There's a new toy shop downtown that sells puzzles and games. And so those businesses obviously are going to be targeting people within this local area. Now, if I'm an online business, I'm not necessarily going to be targeting that same group of people. And so it's important to know where your audience is physically. So what city they live in, what state they live in, what country they live in, so that you can market in a different way. For example, maybe as a photography educational business, I would be targeting people in my local area. There actually is a photography school in my town that targets people within the surrounding cities to come meet them and to take lessons in their studio, or they go out and do different photo walks where people learn. And that's one business model. That's not my business model because I'm doing everything online right now. But in the future, if I ever did decide to do actual lessons in person, I wouldn't be targeting people from around the world. I would start to focus on targeting people within a 25-mile radius or something like that. But the location of your audience can also be important for online businesses as well. Depending on if you are actually selling a product that you have to ship, you might only be able to target people within certain countries. Nowadays, it's a lot easier to mail things around the world, but maybe that's not something that you want to do. It also might come across in the content that you actually create. If you are targeting people that live in urban big cities, maybe the types of posts that you post include that kind of content more so than a rural environment. So it does matter the location, but for us as content marketers, it's more important to understand where people are and where your audience is online. So ask yourself, what social media platforms does your customer use, or the customer that you're trying to target? Are they on Facebook? Are they on Twitter? Are they on Instagram? As a photography community, a lot of my audience is on Instagram, so I target that audience, and I create content on Instagram, but for you, it might not be the best place to post content. What websites, forums is your audience already using and on? What other businesses and brands do they follow? You can try targeting these people on these different websites or forums. You can also just look at these other places, these other and platforms that other businesses have to see and get inspiration for the content that you want to create. Later on, we're going to talk about creating a marketing schedule, and that means how much content you're putting out on a weekly basis, when you're putting out that content, what type of content it is. And so if you know that your followers are the same followers of X YouTuber who puts out daily videos, then maybe that's a type of content that you need to put out. Maybe if your followers are really into podcasts and into specific podcasts that put out weekly podcasts, then that's perhaps the content that you choose to create as a business. So it's really important to look at other businesses and brands similar to yours to see what type of content they're putting out, and to understand that this is where your audience is. So you're not spending your time focusing on all the social media platforms. While big companies do that, and it can be good to have a be everywhere approach, when you're growing your business, it's important to be a little bit more focused. So what I would suggest is picking one social media platform and focusing on that platform to grow an audience, rather than spreading yourself too thin and trying to do everything all at once. And that's what this really is all about. So you might already know where your customer is, and if you do, great, write that down. If not, do a little bit more research right now, do a little pause, and start to see where your customers actually spend time online.